Hello, my name is Craig Booth, and I am the founder and principal of Channel Force Incorporated. Today, I have with me the partner guy, Anton Silaev. Anton, if you'll give a quick introduction, that would be great.
Yeah, well, first of all, Craig, thank you so much for having me. I look forward to this conversation. My name is Anton Silaev. I'm from Toronto, Canada. I've been in the partnership space for about 10 years now. Before that, I was in enterprise sales, and I've become really passionate about this whole partnerships thing. And so I'm here to chat with you about it and hope to provide some value to the folks that are listening.
No, that's great. Well, I am super excited to have you on this podcast. Obviously, I've been following a little bit about what you've been doing. You and I have connected a couple of times, and I've been super impressed with your business, super impressed with you as a whole, and I'm excited to have a little conversation with you. I'm going to pull up a screen here to share a little bit, so we can sort of just stay connected as we go through this. So first, the first question I always have for folks are, what are the challenges that you're seeing in the target market today, and what is the partner guy in your company? How are you addressing some of these challenges?
Absolutely. So I started the partner guy about a year ago, and I became really passionate about building partner programs for early to mid stage SaaS founders. And that's evolved into a passion for the overall partnerships profession and how it integrates into the wider go-to-market. And so one of the biggest challenges that I'm seeing with my target market is I think the outbound channels currently, the traditional outbound channels are underperforming, and inbound is becoming a lot more expensive. And I'm talking to marketers every day who even the best performance marketers are, agreeing with that it's becoming more expensive. They're having to get more creative and dig deep and find out how else can they get qualified leads through the door. And so a lot of the CEOs and CROs that I talk to, they're wondering, how can we actually build a partner channel? Our investors are asking about it. Our our customers are needing to be served in a greater way than what we're currently being able to serve them in certain areas. But we've heard that partnerships takes a really long time. It's really expensive. It doesn't work. How do you actually get these partners to work? Everyone's talking about it, but it doesn't really, it seems like a voodoo art form, right? And so, I think that's part of the reason we're talking today is I'm here to really help address those challenges. And the way that I do that is I help build partner programs or improve on existing partner programs for companies between 10 to 50 million in ARR that are repeatable revenue companies, mostly SaaS. And I really just take them through the importance of first developing a strategy and then, of course, executing on that strategy and all the various things that go into executing that strategy. And a lot of the founders are surprised to learn, and CEOs and CROs that maybe haven't worked with partnerships before, they're surprised to learn that it's a very different motion from sales and marketing, even though it integrates well with sales and marketing. And sales and marketing is part of partnerships just as much as partnerships is part of that. And so that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm can echo that same thing. I'm certainly seeing the slowdown. So I think everybody's struggling with how do I produce better revenue and do it profitably and efficiently. The channel obviously always seems like a logical place to find profitable, efficient growth. But I'm also relatively surprised that most of the companies that I work with, and again, we have a similar ICP. I may be a little bit higher upstream on the size of the companies, but everybody's struggling with the same thing, and everybody's trying to find ways to leverage partners. I'm always surprised that there's this lack of understanding of how partnerships actually work and how to produce revenue from partnerships. And I'm always surprised that the focus tends to be from the vendor side on their value, their company, their go-to-market strategy, as opposed to the partners. And what I've found is that almost reversing that, where if I'm looking at my customer, the customer needs, the customer market, and I'm building a strategy that aligns both the partner's value and my value into that strategy, and create some real balance where we're looking out for one another. That seems to be where the partnerships thrive. And of course, with my background, it's always structured performance. It's more than just showing up and partnering. It's really giving people that recipe to go out and sell. So I love what you're doing. I think you're definitely on to something with your philosophies and the way that you operate. So,
Well, I appreciate that. And I think you hit the nail on the head. It sounds like a crazy thing. It's hard enough to grow your own company, But now you have to think about how can we help other companies in our ecosystem grow. It's almost like a give before you get with partnerships. And so it's a bit of a uh, it's almost the opposite of the way that most companies think. And so that's kind of where we come in and we educate them on the value of thinking about how can we help other businesses grow alongside ours. And that's really where the value comes in of the partnership.
Yeah, 100%. So what advice would you give people looking to start a partner program in today's environment? What are the things they should be looking out for? What are some of the best practices from your, vantage point on how to get partners, or how to get vendors aligned around a solid partner program, and then getting that partner program into productivity?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so if we're starting right from the beginning, depending on the company, I think what's really important to understand first is why do you want partners to begin with? Of course, revenue, of course, leads, but what other things do you want the partners to accomplish potentially? From the beginning, there is always a heavy focus on we just want more leads and more revenue. Okay, fine. Um, I always say, look, however long it took for you to build your sales and marketing engine, just understand it's going to take just a tiny bit longer, a little bit longer, depending on the types of partners you're going after and the types of customers. There are some SMB mid-market partners that you can spin up within a couple of months and you're already having leads and you're generating pipeline. But depending on the market, you're going to need to give it a little bit more time to flourish. And I always say you do need to spend a little bit more time on strategy than you do with sales and marketing in the get-go. You can build the plane while flying it with sales and marketing. You can do that with partnerships, but the risk that you run when you do that is spending 12 to 18 to 24 months on partnerships that ultimately will not result in the value that you're looking for. And so it's really important to get aligned from the beginning on the values of the company, why you're looking to do partnerships, what the strategy is, the go-to-market strategy, and how partnerships fits into that go-to-market strategy. And at the end of the day, and possibly the most important point, is you have to remember that it's all about the customer. So how can partners help the
Yes.
customer? How can the customer get a better experience, whether it's through an integration or whether it's through a joint sales cycle with different experts, whatever the case may be, how is the customer going to be served by these partnerships? And revenue comes as a result of that happiness and of that service.
By the way, that is such a great point. You brought up really several great points in that conversation piece. So one, I totally agree with you. Everything should be backwards engineered from the customer back into your partner program rather than from the partner program out to the customer. So I think that's great insight. A lot of people really don't understand how to do that and how to do that well. One of the things that we like to do is to look at the economic buyer and then map the ecosystem that surrounds that economic buyer. So who do they go to for training? Who do they partner with to fulfill orders? What cohorts are they a part of? Just, the whole ecosystem that surrounds that individual. And by looking at that ecosystem, for that economic buyer, we can find routes to that buyer through the partner community. And then we can start to build our programs around the different types of partnerships. So this partnership would be an influence partner, and this partner may be a services partner, and this partner may be a reseller, right? So we can start to build the categories based on how we want to use those partnerships to influence the ultimate goal of making that customer really, really happy. So I think that was really, really good insight. The other insight that I think almost every partner pro that's listening to this will resonate, and that is everybody looks at partnerships like an ATM. All we have to do is go and sign up partners and give them a good incentive program, tell them about our value proposition, do some basic enablement. Let's walk away, and those deal registrations are going to come flowing in. We're all going to be rich. And then 3 months later, 6 months later, when nothing's actually happening, everybody looks at the partner program like, oh my, the partners, they're terrible, and our partner program is terrible. When in reality, it's the lack of understanding about how partners work, the level of investments that you need to make in order to build the engine that produces for you. And there is a science to this. It's not just sign up any partner that you want and expect things. So that, I think you brought up some really good points. I don't know if you want to expound on any of that, or if you agree or disagree with those comments.
Completely agree. And I think the challenging piece is you have your company and then you have the partner. That part is pretty easy to figure out. But then that middle layer of how do you actually incentivize them? How do you measure performance? And how do you actually work with the partner to have predictable revenue And I think that we're going to talk about that in a couple of questions here. But that's one of the reasons I'm excited to work with you is, you're kind of you've cracked the code in a sense of how that middle layer works. And I think that's very interesting. Um, yeah, I think that's it for now with that one.
Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. So we talked about, at the very beginning, what are the challenges? What are you kind of seeing in the market today? You put out a post the other day, and this is more future looking and future thinking, but you put out a post around AI in in partnerships. So I'm really curious because I think that, as I read through that and watched a little bit of it, I thought, it's so relevant for today, how AI is going to change the partnering world. So I'd love for you to just give a quick snapshot of your vision on that. What do you see happening in the market? How AI is going to change things, and what should our audience be thinking about and looking at with AI?
Sure, and thank you for asking that question. I'm certainly not an AI visionary, but that post was inspired by Jocko from or Yako. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce his name, from Winning by Design. And he posted about an AI-led growth as sort of being the future, where it's all about the systems and processes that go to place. It turns from people-centric to really system and process-centric, and that can happen now even at earlier stages of companies than we usually see because of AI-enabled technology. And so what I just did was I imagined, well, in the partner space, how can we as partner leaders that are always struggling to get more resources and that are dealing with so many different points of data in our ecosystem, how do we actually take all that data in and be able to make the right decisions, focus on the right things because of the technology that we're using? And so what I put was, pretty soon, the partner leader, the VP of partnerships or the chief partnerships officer, up to a certain point, especially in the earlier stages, might be able to run the channel or run their partner program almost entirely on their own, minus having, of course, the relationship managers that are very important that AI can't replace for now until it's all robots talking to each other, and who knows what'll happen there. But aside from really the value of partnerships, well, it always has been about the in-person relationship, but I think that a lot of the operational side of partnerships will start to be automated as we start to see a lot of these partner technologies integrate into one another, having the technologies mapped out across the entire partner cycle, whether you're just starting a partner program, which solutions can you use to enhance that, all the way to how do you grow an existing partner program, like what analytics tools, what kind of different systems and processes can you use that you can access inside of a solution. Historically, partner leaders are, even not even historically, 10 years ago, even 5, 10 years ago, until this partner revolution in this decade, everyone's running off of spreadsheets, right? And then if you get into larger organizations, maybe there's a PRM there, but then there's so many other things outside of a PRM that could go into building a partner program, managing a partner program. And I just think that with this sort of shift from software as a service to service as software that we're experiencing in the market, entire functions are going to be able to be automated, and AI is going to facilitate the accomplishment of those functions, through really one pane of glass, not even a platform, but more like, this is the outcome that we're delivering. These are the parts that have to go into it. How can we actually achieve this with the most optimal resources? Maybe one person managing it, and then a number of relationship managers. And so that's kind of what I foresee as being very near term. I don't know exactly how fast it's going to go. I don't, there's predictions, but even just with these current models that we're working with, the amount of time I'm able to save on administrative and data analysis and other tasks, even just the signals space, the partner signal space under the partner RevOps umbrella, is just blowing up. And so I think that with AI getting more integrated into the solutions, it's just going to become easier, and it's going to become easier and better for partner leaders to be able to do their job, which is already split between so many different data points.
Yeah, by the way, what a great point. And I really appreciate you sharing that vision and that story. I think it aligns really nicely to a lot of the way that I'm transitioning my thought processes around AI as well. So, we've all been into tech stacks, and the channel is filled with tech stacks. I think Jay McBain puts out these 13 islands that each have 20 vendors in each one of these different islands. So if you look at the potential tech stack for any partnering organization, it can be 30 different pieces of technology, and they're all everybody's doing a a point product or a point solution to solve a pain point within the partnering world. The way that I'm sort of envisioning a lot of this stuff now is that we're sort of moving away from just the point product story into more of the platform play. But more importantly than that, there's an evolution that I think is one step beyond that, and that is really that every one of these platforms, they are data collecting platforms.
Mm.
And AI allows us to come in and take that data and put intelligence around it that makes the processes better, faster, better decision making as a whole. And it's almost a good segue into the RevOps driven structured performance model, which I'll ask in just a minute. But in the model that I'm out building right now, the concept of the performance IQ is that we're capturing prospecting data and prospecting activity, and we're displaying it in a RevOps dashboard. But what if I had an AI engine that sat over the top of that that said, you know what? As we're out prospecting, this industry with this messaging is resonating better than any place else. And AI has identified that. And that this economic buyer always answers email too, and always answers this messaging. So we need to double down here. So the idea of taking all of that data that we're collecting and then building the right, for lack of a better term, prompts or the right sort of analysis into AI to help us identify the trends, help us identify what's working, and make better decisions faster that craft our go-to-market so that we can generate better revenue and capture trending. That's where I think things are going. And if we can start looking at our platforms as data lakes that are all capturing data that we can then leverage for the greater good of generating, either better revenue or better customer experience, I think that's the home run. So
Excellent. No, that's exactly how I see it as well. It's just the AI is really the layer that enables all of this data to be processed and for us to be able to make decisions. Because otherwise, how could we look at all those different points? So
yep, yep. So AI to BI, business
that's
intelligence.
right.
Right? So that's what it's all about these days. No, that those again, great answer from before. So moving on to the next, I am super excited that you and I are partnering. So I know this might be probably the first discussion point for a wider audience, but the partner guy and Channel Force, we're going to be aligning around our mutual go-to-market strategies and helping one another grow our business together. I am super excited to have you on as part of the Channel Force family, and I'm happy to be part of the Partner Guy family. So I think it's gonna work out really well for both of us. One question that I always like to ask, especially as I bring partners on, I know I'm putting you on the spot, but obviously you've gone through at least the overview of our RevOps driven structured performance model. What was it about Channel Force or the model that you found compelling enough to say, hey, I'm interested in partnering around this?
Well, first of all, Craig, I was you know, speaking to you, I liked you from the moment I met you. I thought you offered something very compelling, and you're a good person. And there's a lot of content that I've been reading about you in the last few months that really resonated with me. Um, and I think that overall, as I mentioned earlier, sort of that layer between the partner and the customer, or sorry, the company that you're working with and the partner, what is that layer, and how do you actually, as you say, transition the passive partners into active demand creators? How do you do that? And so what you presented to me, what you showed me was really compelling for a number of reasons. Is first, you have solutions already that are plug and play that could be plugged into anyone's tech stack or environment or process, and immediately you have access to not only modeling, but being able to track performance, enable folks with the right materials. You have all of that sort of laid out, and I think that that's a really important thing for not only for partner leaders as consultants that are implementing this, or or companies to have. I think it's more important for the company to be able to get to the return on their investment in channel as quick as possible.
Yep.
And if everyone, most partner leaders that I know, at the VP level, they do have typically something that they bring from their past experiences, but they haven't taken the time to actually productize it and to maybe just plug and play into the next company, because it's a framework that plugs in easily into any company. And what I saw from you was, obviously the ability for me to be able to work with you and to go up market beyond my current sort of level of company, which is 10 to 50 million, because that's who I really focus on. And that's who I build partner programs for. But beyond that is the ability to really impact these large companies quickly. And I know large companies often take time to see a return on investment. But what I see is just a complete system where you're able to really plug it in and manage the entirety of the channel and provide the right incentives and to be able to present, and most importantly, the data to the rest of the revenue team, which is
Yeah.
oftentimes missing from a lot of partner discussions. And that's where a lot of the tension between partnerships and the rest of go to market comes in. And so, without maybe going too deep into specific, that's really the overarching reason for why I wanted to partner with you and with Channel Force, aside from you being a great guy, of course. So
No, I appreciate that. And by the way, audience, I pay Anton to say all these positive things. So, but in all seriousness, I feel the same way. Like you're a super good guy. We hit it off right up front. I can tell you that you're just a quality individual. And culture in partnerships is so important. And I feel like we align very well culturally in our thought processes, and just more importantly, our character and who we are as people. And one of the things that came, straight from you that I picked up on in our first conversation was a customer focus, and that's exactly what I have too. It's all about how do we service the customer better. But I'm going to spin that question back on to me, which is why am I interested in the partner guy and you in particular, Anton? First and foremost in our discussions, it was really clear that you have an amazing grasp of partnering, much deeper than the average partnering pro. I also love your thought processes and the way that you process and the way that you think about solving problems for folks. And as a proof point, we went into a little bit on your assessments, and we started kind of going through how you assess versus how I assess. And I started walking away like, hey, this guy's got a better assessment than I've got. I could definitely, use his assessments and the things that I'm doing. So, it's. I think that you're going to bring a lot of value in helping to craft, what we do at Channel Force and this MP3. I'm hoping that we do that same. Like anything, I always tell people, I have no ego. We have no ego. Do I have answers? I have a lot of answers. Do I have every answer? No. And every methodology and every process has to continually evolve in order to stay relevant and current. And I think that you're going to help bring some of that value to evolve what we're doing in a really significant way. So I am thrilled to be partnering with you. And I think this is going to be a great relationship and a great partnership. So
likewise, Craig, and I appreciate the kind words.
Yeah. All right. Hey, we're coming down to the end here. We've been on, we've gone through a handful of questions. Are there, is there anything else you would sort of tell our audience, or any other kind of best practices or things you think, would be relevant to our brief introduction conversation here?
Yeah, I would say to the revenue leaders out there wondering about what to do with their partner channel, maybe it's the first time that they're starting it, or maybe they have a more mature partner channel that they're looking to bring greater value to and understand, how to make it work better. That's what we're here for. Hire external help, hire some fractional, hire some consultants. That's what we're here for. It's starting to catch on like wildfire in other areas of the business, and partnerships is no different. It's a very efficient way to kickstart your operations or to enhance your existing operations from a partnerships perspective. The partner profession is getting a lot more productized, and there are methodologies that are being developed, such as Craig's. It's already been developed, that are extremely effective, and they're time tested and proven. And so I would just say, if you're considering your next step with partnerships, consider a consultant, consider partnering with Channel Force or the partner guy, or both.
Yeah. Partner with both for sure. And I will echo that. That is a great close to this. Our goal is a 10x, ROI for companies. So if you hire me, if you hire Anton, we're going to try and deliver 10x plus at a minimum for what you're doing. So most of my engagements pay for themselves, meaning that the money that we generate going through what we do is far greater than what the outlay was. And I'm always blown away by anybody. Hey, if I could invest $1 and make 10 every time, I would do that all day. Well, that's really what you're getting by this partnership and with the methodologies. We're helping companies invest $1 and getting 10 in return. So, but anyway, super glad to have you on board, and I'm excited to partner with you.
Likewise, same here. I can't wait.